You're listening to the Cars of Carlisle Network, podcast episode number 94, the AACA Museum Age of Aquarius.
Cars of Carlisle is your favorite internationally downloaded podcast about all things automotive. Darren and his CFC team are ever searching for interesting automotive happenings, real stories about real car people, and fun features to inform and entertain you. Each week, the Cars of Carlisle crew brings you show topics ranging from car shows to team adventures to auto racing weekends to behind-the-scenes human interest stories from car nuts that live across town, across the country, or even across the globe. Come join the road trip.
Today, ride along to Hershey, Pennsylvania for another opportunity to catch up with our friends at the AACA Museum Exclusive Director Jeff Bliemeister and Nancy Gates stayed late the other night to share the museum's latest Age of Aquarius exhibit. This new exhibit, which focused on the historic and period-centric vehicles spanning from 1967 into the disco era of the 1970s, features one-off flower power and muscle power vehicles like the Waltzing Matilda Volkswagen Beetle, a Woodstock-tribute VW bus, an eye-catching Mod-top Barracuda, a nautical-themed van, one of the very first known custom vans, affectionately named the HMS Truckie. Listen in as Jeff tells you about the DeSoto Club's space in the museum as well as the exciting upcoming 2020 exhibit. Yeah, it's got a Hemi. It is time for some automotive fun and education. So, let's get revved up.
Hello and welcome back, Cubers, to your favorite informative automotive podcast. I am your trusted host, Darren, and this is episode 94. Today we head back to visit our friends Jeff Bliemeister and Nancy Gates at the AACA Museum in Hershey, and always appreciative of them giving up their time. They stayed late, in fact, kept the doors open, kept all the lights on, gave us a chance to run around and take pictures and check out everything going on with that exhibit. As you heard in the opener, some pretty cool cars and vehicles there. This exhibit, highly recommend you get down there and check that out. In fact, it is such a great facility. If you've never been, it's massive, it's so organized, and it makes you feel truly like you are going back in time. The way that they've done the cars, the exhibits, you feel completely immersed. It is actually just one of the best experiences you can have while in the Hershey area. In fact, that segues pretty well to this week's trivia question, and pardon me, I've fallen off a little bit on that. We're going to get back on that wagon. So with that, this is a multiple choice trivia question for this week. I'll have the answer for you at the wrap up, and here it is. The AACA Museum in total size is, in square footage, A, 39,000 square feet, B, 43,000 square feet, C, 71,000 square feet, or D, 90,000 square feet. That answer at the wrap up. So let's head to Hershey and hang out with Jeff and Nancy. Hello, Cubers. We are here in Jeff Bliemeister's office at the AACA Museum, and he and Nancy have stayed late to help us out, and we've been able to walk around the display at the Age of Aquarius, all the vehicles. Jeff, thanks so much for that.
You're welcome. Happy to have you guys here.
Well, we always enjoy coming back and hanging with you guys as our friends. Tell us a little bit about what's happening now so we can get people through your doors, and then what's over the horizon, and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, well, thanks. Age of Aquarius is really an interesting display because usually our displays, our exhibits are a little more focused, so to speak, on a particular brand of car or make a car, maybe 1 or 2 years, something, body style, something like that. Age of Aquarius really brings in a whole era. We're talking from about 1967 up until the disco era in the 70s, when cars had unique personalities and had all kinds of cool, interesting features. And if you come to the exhibit, you'll see a really nice match of what we call equal parts flower and muscle power. Mm-hmm. You got lots of iconic muscle cars, but then you have VW Beetles, buses, including probably the most iconic bus out there, which I'll talk to you about later. Mm-hmm. Mixed in with personal luxury cars and anything that screamed late 60s, early 70s.
Sure. Well, what are some of the stories as far as getting some of these vehicles here? I know with Waltzing Matilda, that was a great story about how the owners are from Mississippi but drive all over in that thing.
Waltzing Matilda is a VW Beetle that is just covered with all kinds of different things of the era, from the 60s and early 70s. Mm-hmm. And that car goes on tour with its owners across the country. They pull up behind their mobile home. Mm-hmm. And we saw it one day in the parking lot here and tracked the owners down after they'd been through the museum and said, "We're doing this exhibit. would you consider bringing it up? And we became friends with them on Facebook. They love the museum. They keep they have visitors and viewers of their own. They keep their public up to date on what's going on with Matilda. Matilda's visiting with her friends at the AACA Museum still, so there's no dancing for her for a little while. But
and did you say she has her own Facebook page?
Has her own Facebook page, yeah.
She's popular.
Yeah. So we're taking good care of her. We'll have her through the winter, and then we'll give her back.
Oh, that's good.
That's how we do things here for exhibits. We borrow people's cars and share them with the public, and then give them back.
Right.
So,
Are there other key vehicles that you think would be great to share with the listeners?
probably the most iconic one is another Volkswagen. We have the actual bus. Well, it's a reproduction of the actual bus painted. Bob Hieronymus of Baltimore, he's nicknamed Dr. Bob. He painted the original Woodstock bus. It became the icon Woodstock bus. Back, he had an art commission. He got paid cash to paint this thing for somebody back in 68 or 69, right before Woodstock. And then one of the bands that was to perform, not one of the big name bands, but one of the other bands, took the bus up there as their transportation. And Bob is a new age artist and philosopher and a really, really cool, interesting guy who became part of this museum exhibit. He wanted to hunt to find that original bus so he could have it and repaint it for Woodstock's 50th anniversary. And that's the video that was playing downstairs, the documentary, and trying to find the bus. They discovered they couldn't trace the VIN. They looked for a couple of years. It's gone. So he bought another one the exact same year and repainted it exactly the same as he did 50 years ago. So we're happy to have that there. It's a really iconic
Recreating
piece.
the masterpiece.
Exactly. And then we've got muscle cars galore down there too, and personal luxury cars and all kinds of cool things. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. And you were mentioning that there's going to be, is it like a clinic where somebody comes and talks about this?
Yeah, we're working with Dr. Bob right now and his staff. He's going to be here sometime probably late winter, early spring, before the exhibit ends, for a public program where you come in and you can find out just his vision behind it all, a little bit more about the era. And there's hundreds and hundreds of different
like
images,
hieroglyphics
on that bus, and he'll interpret that whole thing for the public. So stay tuned to our website, and we'd love to have the public come out and see the exhibit and meet Dr. Bob and learn about his bus.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, I plan to be there.
Anything else with the Age of Aquarius exhibit that you want to showcase?
Just a whole bunch of neat cars with special features. There's an American Motors car down there with a Pierre Cardin interior.
Yes,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
There's a Barracuda with a Mod-top, which is basically looks like a shower curtain from that era, and the interior upholstery matches.
Right.
So, if you like anything different.
What about the vet that's down there?
Oh, the vet is
that is-
outrageous. The vet and Truckie,
Truckie.
one of the first ever custom vans that has a nautical theme, HMS Truckie it's called. That was actually made in the Carlisle area. That and the Corvette. The Corvette is outrageous.
It
Just
is.
special paint jobs. 4, 5, 6, 1,000
plush
layers deep,
velour.
plush velour, all kinds of cool
Chucked
stuff.
and
So
rolled, yeah.
this exhibit really has something for everyone.
For sure.
It's a lot of fun.
And I know the DeSoto Club, correct?
Correct.
They're here right now as well.
Right, the DeSoto Club is here. We run out we have a gallery space. It's a reproduction of a dealership that was here last time when you were here.
Yep.
The DeSoto Club has it now, and we have 4 or 5 more clubs lined up going in the future, 6 months at a time. If you're a member of a national club and you want exposure for your group, call us at the museum. You can have the space just like everyone else.
Okay.
It's free of charge.
Well, I know one of your volunteer crew, Bill Sarangri. He's
Bill, yeah.
He's a big fan of the Cars of Carlisle show and a good friend of ours. And he was saying about he's obviously working on an exhibit, and I don't know if this is the point where you want.
Yeah,
to
I have information right here. I can tell you a little bit about it. We're Bill Sangri is a guest curator. We have a staff here, but we also like to partner with people who have specific expertise or knowledge on the subject matter. We've done that with a lot of exhibits in the past. We did not do one with this Age of Aquarius, but we are doing one with our next exhibit, which opens in May, and that's going to be called It's Got a Hemi in It. Basically, the Hemi engine is known for power. It's known as a Chrysler Dodge Plymouth Mopar type engine, but Hemi really is more of a term. It's a hemispherical combustion head, a combustion chamber. And we are going to try and open some eyes for the public by featuring anywhere from 25 to 35 vehicles that run the gamut and have Hemi engines. The earliest one that we found is a 1907 Renault.
Oh, wow.
Which technically has a
So the French
hemispherical
got it
engine
going,
in
I
it.
guess,
Yeah, the French guys got it going early.
Wow.
So we'll have there's basically 3 generations of Chrysler Hemi engines. We'll have dating back from the 50s up to the present time, including the really, the big ones, the 426 that was in the late 60s, early 70s. We'll have all that stuff represented. But then we'll have neat things like Boss 429 Mustang has a Hemi engine. And then a whole bunch of more 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder foreign cars, domestic cars, esoteric cars you wouldn't think of.
Sure.
James Bond's Aston Martin DB4. If we can find someone to loan us one of those.
Yes.
Well, had an engine. Yeah, we're looking.
Nancy was saying too that if there are vehicles that are still in the hunt, if you want to put that out there, maybe listeners will know of someone who knows of someone third or fourth hand that may be able to help get a lead for you guys. So.
Yeah. Like I said, we're looking for an Aston Martin DB4 right now. There's a couple others as well. I think we're looking for an AC Bristol and a Cunningham. We've got a lot of the other stuff covered, but if anyone has something they know of, I mean, I think a lot of the times we learn from the public too. There's people out there that know as much or more than we do because they're focused on things. So
Sure.
if you have a car with a Hemi engine and you know it's a Hemi, give us a call. We'll talk.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Got a Hemi.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like that television commercial from a few years ago.
Right.
And we're going to also have some engines that depict what the Hemi is. So this is hopefully going to be a real educational experience.
We
for
have
the
a
public.
cutaway. And all?
Yeah, several different cutaways.
Okay.
We're having an Offenhauser performance engine, some kind of a styrofoam Hemi engine that was made years ago.
Wow.
So it's a
I'm
lightweight.
surprised you say it goes back to 1907. I just thought it was much more current than, like...
Yeah, and even most people who think Hemi don't realize that Dodge Chrysler Plymouth had a Hemi engine in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first generation Hemi.
Yeah.
They trademarked that name for an engine, but it's actually a concept.
Right.
It's
I
an
learn
engineering
so
concept.
much every time I come to the AACA. I mean, that's
Well, that's
a
what we're all
perfect
about.
example.
Fun and education, all
It
in one
is.
package.
It is.
Yeah,
And you learn better when you're having fun.
absolutely.
I mean, that's a proven fact.
Yeah. In fact, the Saab has one of the Saab models has a Hemi head. We're going to have a Saab engine head here. There's a Jaguar that has that, and also some motorcycles.
Okay.
So
Oh,
motorcycles with hemispherical combustion chambers. And
Never
heads,
occurred
so.
to me.
Yeah. It's amazing what's out there. So we want to have a lot of fun with this.
Good.
And we hope visitors will enjoy it as much
That
as we do.
sounds interesting.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. Excellent.
Sounds good.
Well, Jeff, I'll give you final say. Anything else that you'd like to share that's coming up or you're looking out over the horizon, just to, again, help promote the museum and all the things happening?
After the Hemis, the next exhibit after that for the following winter, we do summer and winter exhibits. We change twice a year. Will be small pickup trucks.
Okay.
Personal pickup trucks. Keep on Trucking is going to be the name of it.
Datsun. And all
Yeah,
that
anything
stuff. Yeah.
domestic and foreign. So we've got lots of good exhibits coming. We're a public museum, so if someone out there has something they really want to see, again, let us know.
Sure.
That's what we're here for.
Sure.
We love to have members. We love to have people come see us. It's a great place to get away. We're nice and warm during the winter, and we're cool during the summer. So
Yeah.
you can't
I'm
go
noticing
wrong.
that now. It's great.
Yeah. So, we run based on others, the input of the public.
Mm-hmm.
So come see the museum. Tell us what you think. Let us know what you'd like to see.
But if you wanted to mention anything about the adopt a vehicle.
Oh, I like that. That'd be good.
Oh yeah, most museums, people think, okay, you pay your admission to the museum, that takes care of everything we do here. Our overhead, we have a $1.4 million budget here, anywhere from $1.2 to $1.4 million to keep this place open to the public. We raise money through a whole variety of streams. Last time I know you were talking about our night at the museum and our
Yes.
Autos Nails,
Yes.
which both turned out very successful. We'll be doing them again
Impressive
in 2020.
events, yeah.
But we rely on all kinds of neat things, and one of the things, as you mentioned, is called Adopt a Car. For a fee, you can have your name associated with a car. You're kind of like the caretaker of it, and that money goes to that car in the collection, and it's also a little bit of an advertisement. A business or an individual can adopt a car here and become part of our museum family in a real way that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So come down and pick your favorite.
Exactly.
And do
Uh-huh.
that. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. We have several left to choose from.
That's great.
And they think the list is at the front.
It's at the
near
front,
lobby.
right.
Yeah.
Right, so you
Okay.
get your name on the label with the car, and then also with a kiosk at the front door.
All right. Well, we'll check
Double
it out
coverage.
and
And you
encourage
get to
everyone-
drive it around. Oh, wait. No. All right. Never
You're
mind
pushing
that.
your luck now.
Never mind.
That's a great
It
idea.
was worth the drive. It was worth the
Just
drive.
double the cost. Well, Jeff, as always, thank you guys for staying late. You and Nancy went above and beyond by.
Oh, it's always our pleasure.
letting us
You're
come
welcome
down
anytime. You're part of our family.
Well,
Thank you.
likewise. That's
Thank
how
you
we
so
feel
much.
too.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
The Colonial Chapter has put together this display, and so there are 3 DeSotos here. And this gallery is a changing exhibit gallery,
Okay.
and we work with different car clubs and things.
remember her.
Every few months
Yeah.
we change it out, and so right now it's DeSoto. The next group of ones that will come in for the summer will be Horseless Carriage.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
just to
So
give
they're
you-
really old. Yeah.
yeah. Couple cars that people have really been interested. One is the Mod-top, which I guess is pretty kind of rare that people haven't really seen a lot of these. We have Waltzing Matilda, and we have the light bus, the recreated light bus. So, and then beyond that, we have lots of other muscle cars and things like that. So if there's something specific we want, we can also
Sure.
move barriers.
Is
because
that etched glass in that windshield?
That's ours. We can talk about that.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
curious.
That's probably one of Stan's favorite vehicles here.
Wow. Her Majesty's ship
Truckie.
Truckie. Yeah.
Yeah.
HMS Truckie.
HMS Truckie.
Huh.
And we can-
I have to read about the concept of that thing.
It's one of the first. It's one of the first custom vans ever made
Okay.
back in
and
the
it was
60s.
built in Carlisle, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has a
Yeah.
really
Providence.
nice, tie-in for your
Sure,
show.
yeah.
It has a soundtrack. There's a tape playing in there, like music. The water whirling over the ocean. And,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's unique.
Yeah, the builder drove it all over the place.
What's it mean on them when it says available for adoption? What is the adopt-a-car?
So adopt-a-car, we have people, say you're looking for like a fun gift for someone who maybe has everything, they can adopt a vehicle, and it helps us take care and maintain the vehicles.
Oh, okay.
So it's a yearly fee.
Business can adopt it too and have your
Business can be adopting it, and then we have your the logo and name of the adopter on the sign to probably see some.
We've got
as
a
we
big
go
kiosk
through.
out front that has them all listed too. So
That's
all listed.
that's
Yeah.
neat. I have to think about that.
Storage, and stay with it, and then they're on the front of the big kiosk.
Okay, great.
Yes,
but
please.
they're thinking that it is one of the first, if not the first, van that started
so
the
neat.
conversion craze.
And then Marshall Van Customizing right there. Look at that.
He's
He's
guy who
the
owned it.
gentleman who, that's
Huh.
it.
To check on it,
Well,
give
yeah.
Stan a call and everything. Yeah.
I can understand that.
But it's ours. It was donated.
Oh my goodness, it's great.
So Truckie press release, got it.
Great.
This one is Waltzing Matilda. She came from Mississippi, and she's got this little map that shows all the different places where she's been. The owners are super nice. They take it a lot of places for charity and different things, and she's got like a little story that goes with her.
She was being towed behind some kind of RV
Yeah.
last fall. I think it was the fall. Was it the fall? We saw her in the parking lot.
Summer last, yeah.
Took pictures of her, met the owner, and then asked them if they would bring it back for this exhibit. And they did.
That's great.
They did. Yeah. They brought it all the way up here from the south, came to the opening party,
Wow.
turned around, left it with us for the winter.
Where are they from in the South?
Is it Mississippi?
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay,
Yeah.
so really have put just based on the map alone, they truly have enjoyed the thing.
Yeah. So they're planning when they come to pick her up what they're going to do.
Make a
what
big
their
old
next
road trip about it,
trip
yeah.
is gonna
Yeah, they have it has its own Facebook page. The car does.
That's great.
It does. So people like this, and people really like the light bus, and then certainly.
Okay.
I said the Mod-top is
My favorite
one.
example
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
It looks like a shower curtain.
Yeah.
it really does.
Yeah.
It does.
This
Wow.
is a muscle car, but it doesn't have a muscle engine. It's a 6-cylinder.
Oh, is it okay?
Do that.
Now the light van or light bus, that would be great to see too.
Yeah. Those bears are always fun.
This one came off the production line same year I did.
We own this one too. That was done.
Oh, okay.
We own about 4 or 5 cars.
I remember friends, families that had those. I thought these things were cool with all the sky panels and lights.
Yeah, the wagons.
Yeah, Sport Wagon was pretty cool stuff. Also longer than most any garage today. It's just
Yeah, they don't fit in most cars.
they don't.
Right.
No.
The Thunderbird, the corner of there was a big Thunderbird that was over across from the
Oh,
Mod
yeah.
Top, that yellowish kind of mustard color one. That
Yes.
won't fit either.
I believe that.
Probably 17 feet long.
Yeah.
And all the fuse panels. So
That Javelin is great. One of the cooler cars that AMC put out.
There's also so maybe it's interior. He's got like an original, and he's local. Todd Matthews. I don't know.
Yeah, I know the name. I've heard.
Yeah.
he'll have cars at Carlisle all the time. He
Yeah.
works for the Harrisburg Senators.
Okay.
Senators now.
Look at that. That custom fabric was
Yeah.
really sweet.
So he had
Pierre Cardin
this,
interior.
and
Yeah. 8-track. You have it all.
That's great.
That's really
He's
decent.
telling us about the upholstery renovation he did when he was here opening.
It's a Donnie Marie. Is that a Donnie Marie lunchbox or something?
Yeah.
Yes, it
it
is.
is.
Yes, it is.
Donnie
Or it might even hold like 45.
Yeah, it probably
It
is.
might.
You're right. It's more like a 45.
I had a couple of those.
Did you?
I did.
I'm not going backwards. I'm sticking with digital.
I know. Analogs.
The kids can have them.
That's right. That's right.
I gave my son
The kids are out. Well, their finals coming back.
Oh,
now, so
it
to
is.
Spotify and
Oh, my, yes.
Apple Music.
Yep.
I love this for you.
Yeah, that's the sparkles bedazzled.
Yeah, and then this is really cool.
Oh,
as
my
well.
heavens,
The
yes.
paint job on that is really amazing, and the crushed velvet interior.
Oh my. Wow. Yeah, that's very 70s. Okay.
And they had a van that was painted for the original Woodstock, and the artist that painted that actually painted this. This is actually a second, reproduction of that original. They don't know what happened to the original. They just assume over time it, deteriorated. But they wanted to have this for the 50th anniversary of Woodstock, which was last year in August. So what they did is Bob Hieronymus, who's the artist of this, he did a GoFundMe campaign, and they found a van. They got it working. He repainted the whole thing. exactly like the original, and has all different types of symbols, and it's about world, just all different cultures of the world.
Okay.
He's going to be coming in and doing a program actually on the artwork.
Oh, wow.
We're waiting on it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're waiting on a date for that to be confirmed. But he wants to come in and do a program with that, and then there's going to be some sort of tie-in, I think, with the Milton Hershey School as well.
Okay.
With that, one of the art teachers, I think, over there is going to then do some sort of a symbolism program in
That's
conjunction with
fantastic.
this. So.
Yeah, what a great canvas to work from.
Yeah. And there is on this Curiosity Stream, they did a whole story on the Woodstock bus, so you can go on Curiosity Stream and watch the whole movie about the bus as well.
Isn't that cool?
There's
Everywhere you look, you see something new.
Yeah, well, he painted this. I don't know what else you might want to add on this story.
Program on all the interpretation of all the different symbols and things.
Right.
Yeah, that's really true candy apple right there. Wow.
That car there is cool too. It was
Yes.
donated to the museum. The last time it was on the road was '94. I got a call. I'm an appraiser. I got a call from the appraisers, and I went to appraise the car. The woman said, we're getting rid of it. No one in the family has the resources. We don't have the desire anymore to keep it. And our neighbor wants to buy it. That's why I wanted to appraise, so I know what to charge it for it. Well, I said, if your neighbor deal falls through, the museum will gladly take it as a donation if you want to think about that. She called 2 months later and donated the car. So guys went out and picked it up. We're going to get it running after the exhibit's over. They just cleaned it up.
Wow.
We're sitting in our carport since '94 with a car cover over
That's
it.
almost a barn find.
Yeah. I mean, when the wind would destroy the car cover, she had a new one to it. She bought it brand new.
Was there much work done to it then, or not?
She had it repainted, the engine rebuilt.
Okay.
It's been sitting for that long, so it's far from pristine. But here's a picture of it.
Oh, okay.
When she got it brand new. And there's her husband, there's her son. Her son and his mother are the ones that donated it to the museum. They had it in Virginia Beach when they were in the military. And they had aftermarket headers on it and dual exhaust, aftermarket wheels and all these different things. We just tried to put it back to make it look a little more original.
That's true.
But they came for the exhibit opening. They were just floored when they saw it.
Yeah. And to know it's in good care now.
Yeah, we're going to get it running, keep it. Because we don't get many muscle car donations. So
No.
it's nice to have it.
I guess it didn't come back on the floor yet from the weekend. It was at the auto show.
What was that? We were at the auto show.
Yeah, the Orange AMX. We were in the North Hall,
Okay.
across from the supercar
Yes,
area.
yes.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize any, but it was working at the evening we were there. But could have been just the moment we walked through that hall.
Well, we have a lot of volunteers that help us out at that show because it takes a lot of manpower
Well,
to
sure.
man all those
it's a
hours.
lot, yeah. To cover those 3 days.
It's a great
4 days.
show for us. There's a lot of activity and a lot of people,
Good.
so it's a good opportunity for us.
Glad you guys had good exposure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
think
normally there's an AMX that sits over there, which is, like I said, off the floor.
We are back to Studio A. Hope you had a great little road trip with us down to the AACA Museum in Hershey. Always an amazing time. They make us feel like we are part of the team, part of the family, and a big thanks to Jeff, Nancy, and the whole crew. We do truly appreciate how you always open your doors to us. One of the things, too, I wanted to mention, a friend of the show, Bill Sangre, he is, of course, working very hard on the It's Got a Hemi exhibit, which is going to be coming up here this year at the AACA Museum. And there are some vehicles that he is still trying very desperately to find owners that are willing to put them on display. And a big one really is an Aston Martin, and the DB4, DB5, or DB6. So if you personally own one of those beautiful Aston Martins, or you know someone that has that British mark and would be willing to perhaps have it on display for the exhibit of the It's Got a Hemi, reach out to the AACA Museum, Jeff Bliemeister, and just ask for Bill Sangre. That would be a big help. There's some vehicles like that are quite a challenge to find, so that would be a big help. Lastly, I owe you an answer to this week's trivia question, and it was, what is the size of the AACA Museum? And the 4 choices were A, 39,000 square feet, B, 43,000, C, 71,000, and D, 90,000 square feet. So if you guessed C, 71,000 square feet, give yourself a double pat in the back. You are correct. That is the size of that great facility. As always, we thank you for being part of the show and continuing to come back, putting the word out there, reaching out to us, emailing us, giving us your thoughts and input. We welcome your feedback. This is your podcast. We are simply in the driver's seat steering but we are doing all we can to make this a show that is fun, informative, educational, and just a good diversion from life. So for now, I will say drive well, be well, take care.